Hi YouTube. Today we're gonna be reacting to Toastednoodle because I saw that you guys really liked the Nations video. Quite literally 1K views. But I just wanna react to someone else to see if it gets just as many views. And maybe get to 500 subscribers. Please subscribe. I only need like 1 subscriber to get there. Anyways, let's start. This video is called Tornadoes.
Okay, so I've had a lot of experiences with tornadoes. After all, here in Alabama, we are in Tornado Alley.
So I guess he lives in Alabama.
Psh, Alabama isn't in Tornado Alley. They never get tornadoes.
Hey, Alabama actually gets more strong, violent tornadoes than
Bruh. I mean, I haven't been any tornado warnings, but wow.
Anywhere in traditional Tornado Alley, so shut your mouth.
Well, that's not true.
Bam! So a couple of months ago, I was
The way he just screamed at him.
cool, right? Just a normal day, you know. Wrong! Storms were coming and I knew.
What's that thing that it just said? And it doesn't matter. But I guess it wasn't a normal day at school.
it. I spent all day on my laptop watching as they came in. I knew that there was a chance for tornadoes, so I was extra hyped. You thought I was going to say nervous.
No, I didn't.
No, dude, I was ready for this. So during lunch, I knew we were under a tornado watch. Ooh, spooky, yeah, I know. I was legitimately terrified.
I hate tornadoes.
Since I couldn't bring my laptop to lunch, I used my Apple Watch to track the storms and warnings. So I was watching the little radar image closely, barely eating my lunch at all, when I noticed that there was a little hook in the storm closest to us. About the same time, my phone began to buzz. Not like the text message buzz. It was like that long, consistent buzz. I looked up and everyone had the same expression of, "Oh crap, is someone calling me?" I knew what it was. That buzzing was not just any kind of buzz. That was an emergency alert buzz. Tornado warning. The principal just came rushing in and gave us this rundown speech on how we were supposed to get in the tornado shelter. I didn't listen. We had a tornado drill the day before. I was too busy stressing out over that tornado warning. On the way to the shelter, my watch was spamming with text messages from my friends saying, "Harrison, where's the tornado?" Of course, on that towny watch, I couldn't respond to them all at once. We got to the guy's locker room, which was under the building, and we sat down and prepared to wait the storm out. In the front of the locker
Please don't hit them. Please.
room, there was a desk where the gym teacher would always sit. Our weightlifting coach was sitting there on the laptop tracking the weather, with about 3 teachers standing up there with him. One teacher was the teacher of my class at the moment, another one was a teacher that I don't even know that well, and the third one was one that knew I loved weather with a passion. If I got up there, I would be a lot more help than any of the teachers
Honestly, I think he goes up there to help.
combined. I gave her that look like, "Let me up there."
I know that's gonna happen.
"Hey, let's get Harrison up here."
I knew it.
Yes. I walked up there and sprung into action. I pulled up websites they didn't even know existed, and I was going all out.
Wow.
I soon learned the tornado was passing to the north, and that was great.
Alright, no tornado hit for them.
After the warning, everyone began checking out, and eventually so did I. So that's not the only time we've had a minor tornadic event during school hours. This other time is in 3rd grade. I knew we were scheduled to have a tornado outbreak. So after a
Sounds scary.
test, I asked my teacher if I could go to the computer lab to look at the storms. She said yeah, and I went down to the computer lab. When I got there, I looked at the radar on weather.com, and I saw this one storm
Just sees the hook thing that's supercell.
that had formed over us. Hey, that kind of looks like a hook echo.
Just hears that.
I freaking bolted towards the classroom and screamed, "Tornado warning!" like the class didn't hear the sirens from outside. I grabbed a textbook, ran outside, and put the book over my head. Back then, I was scared of tornadoes, horrified. The fear of tornadoes has slowly turned into an extreme interest in tornadoes. Yeah, plot twist, am I right? But we'll save that whole transformation for a whole video to itself. And that video will arrive on Saturday, April 27th, 2017. Mark your calendars. So yeah, tornadoes are scary.
I agree.
We don't want them. Hey guys, thanks for the great support.
Alright, and next we're gonna watch just the first thing of how I became a weather person, or like how he likes tornadoes. See, it's right there. Let me Alright, there we go.
Hey, Johnson.
Okay, so here we go. This is the video. You know, the video I promised in my tornado video about how I became a weather geek? Yeah, here it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it all started on April 27th, 2011. And to a lot of you, that date just rang a bell. After all, it was the day of the worst tornado outbreak in living Alabama memory.
Living Alabama memory, what? How to grammar.
That day was scary, horrific even, and I'm going to try my best to tell you my side of the story. So the night before, I was going upstairs to my bedroom to go to bed, when I saw my dad intensely watching the news. Now, Dad isn't a frequent news watcher, so I was a bit suspicious, though I shrugged it off and went upstairs. I got in my bed and closed my eyes, excited for a great day ahead. I remember closing my eyes, and what feels like right after I closed them, the sirens went off. Here's a little context. If you live in America, you know about these tornado sirens. When you're under a tornado warning, the siren sounds, signaling you to go to a safe place. The sound of the siren is very eerie. After all,
It was really from, like, World War II. It was an airstrike alert, alarm thingy. I don't know.
they're World War II air raid sirens.
Oh, you just
Horrified
said
at the thought of
that.
a tornado, I got up out of my bed and dashed down my stairs. I looked up to see Dad at the TV once again. Dad, where's it headed? It's headed to the north. We're good for now.
That's good.
I walked downstairs in relief and sat down on the couch. Dad continued to watch the news, but now I wasn't that afraid. I ended up falling asleep on the couch. I woke up around 7, my normal getting up time. I put on my clothes, brushed my hair, brushed my teeth, put on my shoes, grabbed my second grader book bag, and headed out. When
Second crater.
I stepped outside, I immediately recognized the feel in the air. It was a balmy, humid feel. That stormy feeling. I had felt the feeling many times that April, and I was used to it. Therefore, I didn't think much of it, and I went to school. I got to school and I noticed about half of my class was absent. That was odd, but what made it a bit more odd was the fact
Bro, wait. Is there gonna be a substitute? That usually doesn't happen whenever I have, like, whenever the area of my school is under a tornado watch.
that we had a substitute. Still shaken up about the storms, some of my friends, including me, were a bit worried about our teacher. But okay, whatever. So I got my homework from the previous
Wait, did you die in that one tornado? Or what?
night and went over to this little holder cabinet thing.
Just places that in. Oh my. Bro, look at that window.
I put my homework in the holder, and I looked out the window next to it. It was
Well,
nearly
I'm not the
pitch
only one
black.
who
Startled,
noticed. I
I
guess
walked back to my
Harrison
seat
noticed
and
too.
began to work on my coloring sheet. I talked to my friends and such, and I finally was starting to chill out. In the middle of the conversation, we experienced a quite sudden interruption. A tornado siren. We started to panic, but the sub calmed us down and followed us through our regular tornado drill procedures.
Good.
Look overhead, go into the hall, and sit down crisscross applesauce up against the wall. We followed the procedures and sat down in the hall. Kids were horrified, but we had to keep quiet. We didn't want to get in trouble. As everyone was quieting down, you could feel the nervous energy in the air. We had had tornado warnings so much that year, but this one felt different from the others. The teacher seemed a bit more worried than the other times.
Wow.
Finally, the tornado warning expired and we were allowed to go back into our classrooms.
Good.
Hours passed and we still continued to do our little worksheets. Then, it happens again. The sirens go off once again and the kids sigh. We go through the procedure and we sit down in the hall. I was sitting next to Grayson, and you guessed it, Cassidy.
What's going on?
The story-
This is 2 in 1 day.
Dude, I don't know, but I'm terrified.
Why are we even in school?
I have no idea. And
This is
suddenly,
mad.
out of nowhere, the wind picked up and the power began to flicker. Everyone panicked and some screamed. The teachers had to calm everyone down until the power fixed itself. A tornado might have just hit us, and I was shocked we weren't dead. I was terrified. Finally, after all this crap, school was canceled.
Good.
We went home, and around noon, it was a bright and sunny day. It was beautiful. I thought it was over. Meanwhile, my dad was leaving his office. People were allowed to go home, so he got in his truck and headed towards his family's farm. He had heard reports of a small tornado hit parts of my town, and he knew that if it hit our town, it would probably hit his family's farm. Dad got to the farm to observe the damage. There was little to none. The farm seemed to be fine.
Yeah.
Dad put his hands on his hips and looked southwest. He saw a real bad thunderstorm in the distance. It was a supercell, a storm capable of producing large hail, very gusty winds, and a tornado. Dad decided he needed to head home, so he got in the truck and started for home. He turned on the radio to hear countless reports of tornadoes all across Alabama. He heard the meteorologist talk about different storms across the viewing area, and there were too many to count. There were countless tornado warnings
Too many to count. Dang, that's kind of bad. Really bad.
for the entire state. Dad drove down the road heading east. as fast as he could, basically racing a supercell back to his home. He finally came to a stop, and he was able to turn to finally get home. But then he noticed something in the sky. Dad had always heard that in a tornado, the skies turn green. He never believed it until now. The sky was green and there was debris falling down from the sky. Pieces of cardboard, bricks, clothes, cement, and so many devastating things. Dad sat there in shock, and as soon as the light turned green, Dad turned on the thrusters to home. Dad finally reached the house and basically busted down the door. "We need to get into the tornado shelter now." I looked over to Dad, now extra horrified. The sirens have been going off all day, but according to Dad, this one was...
Oh yeah, speaking of tornado sirens, one time, I was sitting in, one of my grandparents' cars, and a tornado siren went off. But I didn't see any green skies or debris or tornado. Just looked normal.
Bad news. I ran to get my shoes on, and my sister and Mom came running out of their rooms to come with us. We had ponchos, but we weren't going to use them. There was no time. I put on my old shoes and booked it for the neighbor's house. It was raining super hard, and we finally made it to the shelter where we sat down and just listened to the radio. I was scared out of my mind. I cried a little, to be honest. We could hear the bang of hail as it hit the door. I was, again, horrified. Finally, after what seemed like forever, it came to a stop. We opened the hatch to find our houses okay. We walked back to the house, and on the ground, we could see debris of all shapes and sizes scattered across the yard. That's
scary.
Well, my mom and my sister was actually supposed to go on a school trip to Washington, D.C. that day. Since social media sources were down, we didn't know if the trip was still going on that day. So, we all put our bags into the car, and we went off towards the middle school, because my sister was in the middle school at the time. So we got there, and sure enough, there were no buses. So I was mentally preparing myself to go back home. But no, Dad was tired of this dreaded, nightmarish day. Dad went screeching eastward toward the cold front. We got closer and closer to the front. And
What is up with the music in the background? Why is it just scary music? Sounds like something I'd hear in a Minecraft cave.
the sky got brighter and brighter. I remember the line of light as we finally went under it. It was over. For us. Tornadoes still clawed across the state. There were 3 to 5 violent, long track over EF3 tornadoes over the state of Alabama as we drove through the front. Tornado warnings covered nearly the entire state. We found a little restaurant, and I remember them having the Weather Channel on.
5 actually goes like 200 miles per hour or more. It can destroy an actual city. I'm not even kidding. But EF0s, they barely destroy anything.
Saw the radar image over the southeast, and it looked horrifying. Red dots all over Alabama. But it was over. It's over. It's over. I had to keep on telling myself. There were butterflies in my stomach. I was nervous, and I was really shaken up. I remember the music I heard on the way back home that night. My heart was still racing. I was basically having an anxiety attack. I was nervous for my cat. I was nervous for my home. I was nervous, and I was so scared. We arrived home, and I looked up in the sky. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was a beautiful night.
Good.
A day later, me and my dad were picking up trash and debris all over my yard. There were pieces of houses, trees, everything. Ella's dad came around the corner and showed Dad a video he had gotten of the wedge tornado that had hit about a mile away from us. It was huge. Since that day, I was horrified every day.
See the music.
I was so scared of weather for about a week until my mom said, "Harrison, maybe you could turn that fear of tornadoes into an interest for tornadoes." What do you mean? Well, if you're so scared of them, wouldn't it help you if you knew some stuff about them? Yeah. So, for the next year, my knowledge grew and grew when it came to weather. Mountains of weather books and millions of weather videos led me to what I am today. Events like March 2nd, 2012 and April 28th, 2014 pushed me to learn more about weather. And here, in April of 2017, I can say that I know a fair amount of weather stuff. I'm a weather geek, and I'm proud.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's all the debris, I guess. Sounds scary. Anyways, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and goodbye. I said goodbye.